to see you.
Well, you know, we deviated a little bit with a California guy. We're going to come back to our Midwestern theme this morning, golf in the Midwest. You're originally from?
Nebraska.
Nebraska, which is in the vicinity of South Dakota, I do understand.
Not quite as far, but
well, you know, hey,
our golf season's a little bit longer.
A little bit longer. That's okay. So tell me what Gateway Bank and the Mesa Chamber. Well, tell me a little about the Gateway Bank and then what its involvement in the Mesa Chamber of Commerce is.
Sure. We actually joined the chamber before we were even open. So when we were in formation, we joined the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. There's almost all of us on the board are from Mesa, and this is where we wanted to locate. And so we're involved in nonprofits and different organizations all the way throughout Mesa, and wanted to be involved with the chamber from day one, and it's just been a phenomenal experience for us.
Now, you chose an interesting place to locate your first bank. You didn't go right by, you know, in the center of town or by the freeway. You chose to go out into sort of a new area.
We did. We chose to go in the Gateway area.
How appropriate.
So, yeah, there you go. And, you know, we really wanted to locate where some future growth would be. And obviously there's been a couple announcements for the Gateway area over the last several years. So we're really excited to be where we're at.
Well, good. And you've been open how long now?
We've been open for about 6.5 years.
6.5 years and had a phenomenal growth, I understand.
We have. We've grown from startup from zero. We're about 92 million to this morning.
Wow. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now, an interesting thing in your life is that although you're from Nebraska, you've settled in Mesa. This may be the longest place you've ever lived in your life almost, isn't it? It
is. I moved a few times when I was growing up. By the time I was in high school, I think I graduated high school, I was in my 11th house.
No, but you weren't part of a military family.
No, I wasn't. My dad worked for the government. He worked for the Department of Treasury.
Now, what was he running from?
Oh, there you go. You know, I always tell her my grandpa was a banker. My dad was a banker for a very short period of time, and I tell all my friends he went to the dark side, and he became a regulator and worked for the OCC for about 30 years. So. And
11 houses by college. And the other thing, though, is we're getting back to the golf connection. There's a real golf connection with you, isn't there?
There is. My parents are, my grandpa and my dad and my brother and I were all big golf. It's a big golf family. And so my parents got to know the Nicholases when I was young. And so
like, is that St. Nicholas or some other Nicholas?
It's the Nicholas.
The Nicholas, okay, the bear.
So, yes, and so I've been to his house one time, and I was in high school, and we walked into the kitchen. I just could hardly breathe at that point. And I'd been around him several times, and we were talking to Barbara in the kitchen, and she was just hanging up on a phone call, and my dad's like, well, who was that just called? And she's like, oh, that was President Ford. He was trying to get around to golf with Jack. And I'm like, oh, that's, yeah.
Why not? Kind of calls I get every day.
Then Jack walked in and said, hey, do you guys want to go over to the golf course? I'm like, okay. So we went out and played around. That's when Angie was still his caddy, and I think Gary came out to the golf course with us and spent the day playing golf. So we've had some really fun experiences with them. When I was back in the mid-'70s at Cherry Hills in Denver, we went to a lot of golf tournaments, and I got to meet Byron Nelson that day, and he was sitting at a picnic table all by himself. And
it's a lonely life.
Oh, I got to talk to him for about a half an hour, one-on-one. It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had.
Well, I'm feeling very inadequate this morning. Let me see. Mark is hanging with Justin and Lindsay. Hugh Smith played against Tiger and knows him well, and you are a friend of the Nicholas family. And but I get to spend my morning with my best friends.
There you go.
Well, listen, we want to recognize the Gateway Bank for being an area champion. Gateway has and James have offered to be an area champion to help build the Mesa Chamber of Commerce in the Gateway area. And we'd like to recognize you for that effort and to make a better business, better community, better together, Mesa Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to Gateway Bank. I'd like to present this to you. James Christensen, everybody. Thank you.